Ever wanted a trident? Well, if you're on Java, obtaining one is no easy task, and that's because from any given round, there's actually a less than 1% chance of getting a trident. Drowns without tridents cannot drop one, meaning you have to get the lucky 6.25% chance of getting a drown to spawn with a trident. Then you have to hope to get lucky with an 8.5% chance of it actually dropping the trident. Meaning, from any given round, the chance to get a trident is only 0.53125%. You can raise this to 0.71875% with looting 3, but even this is still below 1%. So I got recommended an Animal Crossing video by YouTuber Dagnall. Effectively, it's a bunch of rare things in Animal Crossing New Horizons. So if that interests you, you can watch that after this one. Anyway, it made me think, what are some of the rarest things in Minecraft? And the list I came up with will not disappoint. On my scale, we've got, ooh, I've seen that a few times, to this is so rare, this will probably never happen to anyone, ever, and may as well be purely hypothetical. There are 13 rare events I've compiled, or rather 12 now since I told you one to open the video. Villages are structures quite useful in the early game, which spawn mobs which are very useful especially into the late game. But before a village generates, it actually has a 2% chance to generate as an abandoned village, also known as a zombie village. This has village houses seem old, decayed, and, well, abandoned. Also, instead of villagers spawning there, zombie villagers spawn. Goats are a mob which spawn in mountainous biomes. If they try to ram you, you can dodge and let them smack their face into a wall. This'll drop a goat horn. Some goat horns are actually exclusive to a special type of goat, known as the screaming goat. Every goat that spawns has a 2% chance to be a screaming goat, with the only way to tell the difference being the noises they make. Here's a goat, and a screaming goat. The enchanted golden apple is also known as a god apple, or the notch apple. It can only be found in structure chests, though there was a removed crafting recipe. The chance of finding one is but 1.4%, though it can go up to 8.4%, depending on the structure. If you don't know, foxes can pick up food on the ground, but that's actually a half-truth, because they can pick up anything the player can pick up. Along with this, they also have a 20% chance to spawn with an item in its mouth. The rarest item is an emerald with a 5% chance, but just briefly, does this imply that lore-wise the fox attacked a villager? Anyway, since there's a 20% chance for it to have an item in its mouth, and a 5% chance that the item is an emerald, there is only a 1% chance that any given fox will have spawned with an emerald in its mouth. Skeleton horses are a rare mob, because the only way to find them in survival is to experience the skeleton trap horse. When lightning strikes, it has a chance to spawn a skeleton trap horse. When you get near to this skelly horse, lightning strikes it, as it becomes 3 skelly horses, all ridden by skeletons. This is rare even on hard mode. Part of why it's so rare is because thunder itself is not so common. During a thunderstorm, the chance for a given lightning bolt to summon a skeleton trap horse on specifically easy mode ranges from 0.75% to 1.5%. Also, if the trap horse isn't triggered, within 15 minutes it'll just despawn. If you've ever wanted to make a chicken farm or just have some fun with friends, you'll know that throwing an egg has a chance to spawn a chicken. But that isn't rare, there's a 1 in 8 chance, 12.5%, of it spawning a baby chicken. However, if that 12.5% chance is successful, there is another 3.125% chance, 1 in 32, of it spawning an additional 3 chickens. Meaning, for an egg you throw, there is a 0.390625% chance of it spawning 4 baby chickens. Now, this is quite rare, but there's actually a 0.2% chance that when a squid is within close proximity to the player, it'll tell players to subscribe to Shamorism_ and like the video if they're enjoying it. Just kidding, squids still don't talk. Anyway, now there's a fair chance you know this considering it's talked about in a lot of those things you didn't know about Minecraft videos, but there's a 0.164% chance of a sheep naturally spawning with pink wool. I genuinely didn't know this to be a feature until I did the research for this video, but when breeding 2 red mushrooms together, there is a 0.097656625% chance of the offspring being brown, or vice versa for 2 brown mushrooms. I genuinely don't know why they specifically programmed this, but they did. You most likely know this to be rare, but probably don't know exactly how rare. The blue axolotl. it can only be gotten through breeding axolotls. When an axolotl is bred, there is a 0.08333 recurring % chance of it being a blue axolotl instead of one of the parent's colours. Now, I've talked about natural pink sheep in this video before. However, now I'll mention the naturally spawning, specifically baby, pink sheep. Because there's a 95% chance for a sheep to spawn as an adult, and only a 5% chance that it spawns as a baby, it means that a baby pink sheep will only have a 0.0082% chance to spawn naturally. Safe to say it is certainly the rarest sheep. Now we're at the last two. These are incredibly rare. A naturally spawning, charged creeper. Just to specify to anyone who might not know, a charged creeper occurs when a creeper is struck by lightning. But what is the chance for this to happen completely naturally without player intervention? So without the player using channeling, a lightning rod, or anything else? Well, because there are just so many variables, it is very hard to answer this, and I'm no mathematician specializing in statistics, so I'm very much not qualified to answer. However, I found a Stack Exchange post where someone poses a similar question, and another person by the username AnonymousPie delves deep into the answer. They found that if you assume the player is using the normal render distance of 16 chunks, then the probability of a specific creeper being struck by lightning is 1 in 25,626,249, or 0.000003897%, which is incredibly low. Before we get to our very last and very rare occurrence, let's rapid fire through some honourable mentions. A specifically baby brown sheep has a 0.15% chance of spawning. This is because brown sheep are the rarest, with pink sheep being the actual rarest. The rarest thing to get from fishing is 10 ink sacs, which have a 0.1% chance without luck of the C3. Each end portal frame has a 10% chance to generate with an eye in it, so there is a 1 in 1 trillion chance of all the frames generating with eyes. The rarest cape on Java is a 7-way tie, these being the Birthday, DB, Millionth Customer, Prismarine, Snowman, Spade, and Translator Japanese. Each cape is only owned by one user. The rarest to see, so least used, default skin on Java using the Steve/Wide model is McKenna, with 207,138 total accounts having ever used her. The rarest to see default using the Alex/Slim model is Steve, with 204,695 total accounts, meaning the rarest to see default skin is Steve using the Alex/Slim model. This makes a lot of sense because Alex model Steve is just so cursed. Also, for reference, the most used default skin using the Alex model is Alex with 1,555,071. The most used default skin using the Steve model is Steve with 1,947,566, meaning the most used skin on Java, unsurprisingly, is the Steve model Steve. Now we're at the last thing on my list. An event so rare that it most likely has not occurred or will ever occur. A naturally spawning baby zombie villager riding a chicken with 3 bits of enchanted diamond armor, an enchanted iron sword, and a jack-o'-lantern on its head. This has a 1 in 948 trillion chance of spawning, or 0.000000000001055%. And on top of that, it can only spawn on Java and on Halloween, as mobs can only spawn with jack-o'-lanterns on Java on Halloween. Just like editing Sham having good timing, it's safe to say this will never happen. Minecraft is such a big game, and as a result, there are so many rare things. So if I've missed something, feel free to tell me in the comments.